Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I'm Anuja Kumar and with me is Reshma Tiwari with the Midday News. The headlines. Centre asks states and union territories to enhance testing capabilities to deal with COVID-19 pandemic. Recovery rate reaches 62.72%. A sero-prevalence study conducted in Delhi shows 23.48% people are affected by coronavirus. Study indicates large number of infected people remain asymptomatic. HRD Minister launches Mano Darpan initiative to provide psychosocial support to students. President, Vice President and Prime Minister condole the demise of Madhya Pradesh Governor Lalji Tandon. And flood situation in Bihar remains grim. Met Department issues red alert for heavy rain in different parts of the state. The central government has asked the states and union territories governments to increase testing capacities to deal with COVID-19 pandemic. In a letter written to all the states and union territories governments, the Health and Family Welfare Ministry and the Indian Council of Medical Research said that the evolving scenario demands for enhanced testing capabilities to handle any surge in testing needs. The central government said more labs for COVID-19 testing should be added and existing testing capacity can be enhanced. The government has also devised a strategy to enhance the testing, which includes short-term and long-term measures. As a short-term measure, the central government has suggested that RT-PCR machines available with the research and educational institutions under the state and central government be temporarily deployed in the district hospitals and testing labs. Besides, the states and union territories have been asked to procure rapid antigen kits to enhance their testing potential. The Health Ministry said addition of private diagnostic labs with 2 RT-PCR machines each will enhance the capacity by 48,000 tests per day. It advised to add at least 5 labs per state into the network. A sero-prevalence study conducted in Delhi to understand the proportion of population exposed to corona infection shows that 23.48% of the people are affected due to coronavirus. The results of the study shows that on an average, the prevalence of IgG antibodies is 23.48% in Delhi. The study also indicates that a large number of infected persons remain asymptomatic. This study was conducted from 27th of June to 10th of July in all the 11 districts of Delhi. 21,387 blood samples were collected from selected individuals and were tested for IgG antibodies using the ELISA testing kits. It is one of the largest sero-prevalence studies conducted in the country using the ELISA testing. The tests have been done to identify the presence of antibodies in the general population. It provided information about past COVID-19 infection in individuals who tested positive. The ministry said a significant proportion of the population is still vulnerable and the containment and preventive measures need to continue with the same intensity. More from our correspondent.
The Health and Family Welfare Ministry has commissioned a sero-surveillance study in Delhi. This study has been done by the National Centre for Disease Control in collaboration with the Delhi government. Antibody testing like sero-surveillance provides important evidence for assessing the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. Depending upon the level of sero-prevalence of infection, appropriate public health interventions can be planned and implemented for prevention and control of the disease. As per the Indian Council of Medical Research, periodic sero-surveys are useful to guide the policymakers to conduct surveys in high-risk areas or vulnerable population who have been infected in the past and now recovered. Bhupendra Singh, AIR News, Delhi.
Human Resource and Development Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank today virtually launched the Mano Darpan initiative under Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. This initiative will provide psychosocial support to students, teachers and parents and address their issues related to mental health and emotional well-being. While launching the Mano Darpan, Mr. Nishank said this initiative will provide strength, suggestions and support to the students, teachers and families in the difficult situation.
ये जो हमारा मनोदर्पण है वो ऐसी श्रृंखला ऐसी ताकत बनकर के उभरेगा जब न केवल मेरे छात्र छात्राओं को बल्कि अभिभावकों को भी अध्यापकों को भी आम जन को भी वो ताकत देगा। इस पोर्टल पर आप परामर्श कर सकते हैं, आप अपने सुझाव दे सकते हैं, आप उसे सुझाव ले सकते हैं। उस पोर्टल पर आप संवाद कर सकते हैं हमारे चिकित्सकों से, मनोवैज्ञानिकों से। आपको परेशानी होती है तो आप टेलीफोन करिए और आप उसका परामर्श ले सकते हैं।
He said a helpline number 844-844-0632 has been launched to provide the consultation which can be accessed from morning 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Appreciating the role of the teachers and students, he said there are 33 crore students in the country and they will play an important role in making India clean and healthy. He said government is making all efforts to bring online syllabus for the students and trying to provide online education to every student.
मैं छात्र छात्राओं आपसे कहना चाहता हूं, आपके लिए ऑनलाइन भी हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं पाठ्यक्रम लाने का। उन बच्चों को भी मैं कहना चाहता हूं, उन अभिभावकों को भी कहना चाहता हूं जिनके पास न स्मार्ट टेलीफोन है और न इंटरनेट की सुविधा है, उनको निराश होने की जरूरत नहीं है। मानव संसाधन विकास मंत्रालय ने जो स्वयं प्रभा है, दीक्षा, ई पाठशाला से एनडीएल है, तमाम प्रकार के अभियानों को लेकर के जो स्वयं प्रभा के 32 चैनल जो डीटीएच पर होंगे, सामुदायिक रेडियो पर भी आएंगे। हम अंतिम छोर का जो बच्चा बैठा हुआ है उसको भी निराश नहीं होने देंगे।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the India Ideas Summit hosted by the US-India Business Council tomorrow. This year marks the 45th anniversary of the formation of the council. The theme for this year's India Ideas Summit is Building a Better Future. The virtual summit will feature high-level presence from Indian and US government policymakers, state-level officials and leaders from business and society. Minister of External Affairs Dr. S. Jaishankar, US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, former US Ambassador to the United Nations Ms. Nikki Haley will also speak during the summit. In the summit, discussion will be held on India-US cooperation and future of the relation between the two countries in a post-pandemic world.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said India is moving forward with the vision of a self-sufficient nation. He stressed that the country is moving towards development of an integrated tech and data-driven healthcare system which is affordable and hassle-free. Interacting with IBM CEO Arvind Krishna yesterday, Mr. Modi said this is a great time to invest in India. He said the government is committed to ensuring that the technological shift towards work from home is smooth. Talking about the impact of COVID-19 on business culture, the Prime Minister said that work from home is being adopted in a big way and the government is constantly working towards providing infrastructure, connectivity and regulatory environment to ensure that this technological shift is smooth. He also discussed the technologies and challenges involved in the recent decision of IBM to make 75% of its employees work from home. The Prime Minister appreciated the role played by IBM in association with CBSE towards the launch of artificial intelligence curriculum in 200 schools in India. President, Prime Minister and many leaders have condoled the passing away of Madhya Pradesh Governor Lalji Tandon. President Ramnath Kovind today said the nation has lost a legendary leader in the passing away of Lalji Tandon. Mr. Kovind said Tandon combined cultural sophistication of Lucknow and acumen of a national stalwart. In his condolence message, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu described Tandon as a people's leader who worked relentlessly for the upliftment of the downtrodden. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said Lalji Tandon will be remembered for his untiring efforts to serve the society. He said Lalji Tandon played a key role in strengthening the BJP in Uttar Pradesh and made a mark as an effective administrator who always gave importance to public welfare. Expressing grief, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said Lalji Tandon's long public life had been devoted to the service of public. Home Minister Amit Shah said, as a public servant, Lalji Tandon has left a deep impression on Indian politics and his death is an irreparable loss. Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar said Lalji Tandon was an exemplary human who stood by former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh Aditya Nath Yogi also expressed his grief.
श्री टंडन जी लोकप्रिय जननेता, कुशल प्रशासक और वरिष्ठ समाज सेवी के रूप में जाने जाते रहे हैं। उन्होंने अपनी कुशलता और दक्षता का परिचय सदैव दिया। मैं उन्हें अपनी विनम्र श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करता हूं।
Bihar government announced state mourning today in respect of MP Governor and former Governor of Bihar, Lalji Tandon. Chief Minister Nitish Kumar expressed heartfelt condolences over the demise of Lalji Tandon. Mr. Kumar said his term as Bihar Governor will be remembered for his valuable contribution in the field of education. A veteran BJP leader, Lalji Tandon, was a former MP from Lucknow and former cabinet minister in the state government. His last rites will be performed while following the COVID guidelines. His son and cabinet minister in Uttar Pradesh government, Ashutosh Tandon, requested everyone to pay homage to the leader while remaining at home. Uttar Pradesh government has announced a 3-day state mourning. A report.
From a ward councillor in 1960s to the member of parliament in 2009 and to the post of governor of Bihar and then Madhya Pradesh, the political career of Lalji Tandon spanned more than half a century. He was a close associate and a trusted lieutenant of former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee from his early days and finally inherited the political legacy of Atalji by fighting election from his constituency Lucknow in 2009. Known as Babuji to his supporters and general public, Lalji Tandon was quite popular among Lucknowites for his Chaat Party and Holi Milan functions in Chowk area of the city. He was also instrumental in BJP and BSP alliance in Uttar Pradesh. BSP Supremo Mayawati used to tie Rakhi to Lalji Tandon and expressed her condolences on his demise. His death is being mourned across the party line. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
In Rajasthan, hearing is underway in the Rajasthan High Court on the petition of former Congress State President Sachin Pilot and 18 other rebel MLAs of Congress. Congress rebel MLAs have filed a petition seeking dismissal of the disqualification notices served to them. The bench of Chief Justice Indrajit Mohanty is expected to conclude the hearing of the case by this evening. On Friday, the court was told by Speaker C.P. Joshi that he will not take any action in this matter till 5:30 p.m. today. Senior advocate Harish Salve and Mukul Rohatgi are appearing on behalf of the petitioner MLAs, while senior advocates Abhishek Manu Singhvi and Devidat Kamath are appearing on behalf of the Speaker C.P. Joshi. Apart from this, Chief Whip Mahesh Joshi and Public Against Corruption Organization are also a party in this matter. Amid the political developments, Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot has called a meeting of the Congress Legislature Party, which is underway right now. More from our Jaipur correspondent.
A hotel at Delhi Road near Jaipur city has been the center of power and politics for the last 9 days. Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot, all ministers, all members of the state cabinet and MLAs supporting the government are camping here. The strategy of Gehlot camp is being built here and the necessary directions of the government are also being taken from this hotel. Historical films of Bollywood and comedy shows are being organized to entertain the MLAs. Due to the ongoing political crisis in the state, routine work is being done in the state secretariat and policy decisions are being postponed. However, people are keen interested to know when this political storm will stop in the state and when the conditions will become normal. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
The News Services Division of All India Radio, in its bilingual live phone-in program today, will bring you a special discussion on COVID-19. Dr. M.K. Sen, senior physician at Safdarjung Hospital, will participate in the discussion. Listeners can ask questions to the experts on toll-free telephone number 1800-115767. You can also ask questions on telephone number 011 23314444 and post queries on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts by #AskAIR. This can be heard tonight on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. This program will also be available on our website newsonair.com and on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official. You can also follow us on the News on AIR app for updates.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Centre asks states and union territories to enhance testing capabilities to deal with COVID-19 pandemic. Recovery rate reaches 62.72%. A seroprevalence study conducted in Delhi shows 23.48% people are affected by coronavirus. Study indicates large number of infected people remain asymptomatic. HRD Minister launches Mano Darpan initiative to provide psychosocial support to students. President, Vice President and Prime Minister condole the demise of Madhya Pradesh Governor Lalji Tandon. And flood situation in Bihar remains grim. Met Department issues red alert for heavy rain in different parts of the state. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
The government today said a total of 7,24,578 people infected with COVID-19 have recovered in the country so far, and the recovery rate is 62.72% in India. And the case fatality rate continues to decline in the country and has come down to 2.43%. The Health and Family Welfare Ministry said in a significant development, a record number of 24,491 people have recovered in the past 24 hours. Presently, the total number of active corona cases in the country is 4,02,529. The Health Ministry said a total of 37,148 new cases of COVID-19 have been reported in the country in the last 24 hours, taking the total number of cases to 11,55,191. In a single day, 587 deaths have been reported, taking the nationwide toll to 28,084. Our correspondent reports that in terms of recovery rate of coronavirus cases, Delhi is at the top with 84.78%, followed by Ladakh, Haryana, Telangana and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. In these 5 states and union territories, the recovery rate is above 73%. 19 states and union territories have better recovery rates than the national average of 62.72%. In terms of number of people recovered from COVID-19, Maharashtra leads the tally, followed by Tamil Nadu, Delhi and Gujarat. There are 29 states and union territories which have lower fatality rate than the national average of 2.43%. In the total active cases, around 68% caseloads are from Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh. In Mizoram, 13 new cases of coronavirus were reported and 11 of them are BSF personnel. According to an official statement, the total tally has reached 297 in the state. Presently, there are 129 active cases and 168 patients have recovered.
In Tripura, the COVID-19 has claimed 2 more lives yesterday, taking the toll to 7 in the state. Meanwhile, 202 fresh cases have also been detected in the last 24 hours. With this, the positive cases in the state has risen to 3,093, of which 1,227 are active, while 1,845 patients have recovered. Karnataka Chief Minister has asked ministers in charge of 8 zones in Bengaluru to activate the task force set up at the booth level to contain the COVID pandemic. Reacting to this, the Bruhat Bengaluru Mahanagar Palika has set up a task force on COVID-19 public health response under the City Corporation Commissioner. The task force will focus on measures to decrease COVID transmission and mortality in Bengaluru urban district. More from our correspondent.
Bengaluru urban district had 33,229 positive cases, out of which 25,574 are active. In the last 7 days, 12,260 positive cases are added to the total. The district is witness to 698 deaths. Hence, the Bengaluru City Corporation has set up the task force. It will ensure fast-track testing of samples and results within 24 hours. It will streamline RT-PCR testing labs for this purpose. The primary health centers in the city will carry out rapid antigen testing. A systematic process for reporting suspected COVID cases will be laid down. It will also concentrate on survey conducted in the containment zones and buffer zones. The corporation is also interacting with private hospitals to ensure that COVID critical patients get beds. Sudhindra, AIR News, Bengaluru.
Amidst rapid increase in number of COVID-19 cases in the state, Maharashtra has the world's largest plasma therapy testing facility. The therapy is proving effective as the injected antibodies from the blood of recovered patients help fight the virus. In an exemplary move, the SP of Nashik Rural, Dr. Aarti Singh, has made effective use of plasma therapy to create a safety net around the rural police force. Due to her work, the police working in the rural areas of Nashik district and Maligaon are now feeling safe and secure amidst the outbreak of the disease. A report.
Malegaon town in Nashik district of Maharashtra had emerged as COVID hotspot is now heading towards recovery. The credit for this major feat goes mainly to the police force in the region, which firmly maintain law and order on the streets, and the doctors who dedicatedly serve the noble cause of saving people's lives in the hospitals round the clock. The commendable initiative of Nashik Rural Police Superintendent Dr. Aarti Singh has also come to the fore during the epidemic. Dr. Singh, who was also a doctor by profession, has taken full advantage of her education in the outbreak of the epidemic. Her initiative has succeeded in maintaining complete balance in the physical and mental well-being of police force on the duty when the situation in the region was getting out of hand day by day. 82 personnel and officers in the police force of the region who were infected due to the virus have now recovered and have donated their plasma for other corona patients for their treatment. All of these employees are under the age of 50. Nivedita, AIR News, Mumbai.
The total COVID-19 infections in Tamil Nadu have exceeded 1.75 lakh with the confirmation of 4,985 cases yesterday. However, epidemiologists say the situation in Chennai is vastly improving. The active caseload in the city as of yesterday is a little over 15,000 as compared to the total infection of more than 87,000. Nearly 82.6% of the people have recovered.
In Maharashtra, Pune district reported the highest single-day spike in COVID-19 cases as it added 2,601 fresh cases in the last 24 hours, taking the total case count in the district to 54,013. A report from our correspondent.
The surge in COVID-19 cases in Pune district of Maharashtra since last few weeks can be attributed to the use of rapid antigen detection tests. As per information received from district officials, rate of rapid antigen detection tests in Pune is 499 per 10 lakh people, which is stated as highest in the country. Because of this, cases are now growing faster in Pune than in Maharashtra or India on an average. Doubling is less than 15 days over the last week. Though the number of new cases is constantly increasing in Pune, recovery rate has gone up to 65%, while the mortality rate has fallen to 2.65%, stated a report released by the district health authorities today. Nitin Kelkar for AIR News, Pune.
In our series Experts Speak on All India Radio, we bring you the views of the leading medical experts on COVID-19. Talking to AIR News, Director at AIIMS in Delhi, Dr. Randeep Guleria advised the people to aggressively follow the social distancing and hand hygiene norms to check the spread of COVID-19 infection.
Regular hand washing should be done. So those who in an area where there is coronavirus infection should wash their hands regularly. You should avoid going to crowded places because if someone in the crowd is coughing and has the infection, he can spread to others in the crowded places. And if any member in your family has fever, cough, cold, he should stay at home and avoid going out so that he doesn't spread the infection to other people in the community.
Dr. Anant Mohan, Head of Pulmonary Medicine, AIIMS, has advised people to not take medicine like hydroxychloroquine or anti-malarial without a prescription by a doctor.
Please do not take medicines such as azithromycin, other antibiotics, antivirals or hydroxychloroquine or other anti-malarials without a proper prescription by a doctor. Do not self-medicate.
Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar today hit out at Congress leader Rahul Gandhi. In a series of tweets, Mr. Javadekar said India has the least average cases, active cases and mortality rate compared with the US, Europe and Brazil. He said Rahul Gandhi has insulted the people of India and the brave corona warriors by making fun of candle lights. The minister said Shaheen Bagh and riots, losing Jyotiraditya and Madhya Pradesh, instigating migrant labourers, 6th anniversary of the historic defeat of the Congress, defending China and Congress on virtual collapse in Rajasthan are some of the important achievements of the Congress party in the last 6 months. The Delhi government today approved a scheme for doorstep delivery of ration in the state. Under the Mukhyamantri Ghar Ghar Ration Yojana, poor and needy in the national capital will be delivered packets of wheat flour at their doorstep. Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, in a virtual press conference, described this move as revolutionary and said that this scheme will be optional. He said those who want to buy ration from fixed price shops can opt out of the scheme. Mr. Kejriwal said the scheme is expected to be operational in the next 6 to 7 months. He informed that Centre's scheme of One Nation, One Ration Card will get implemented in the national capital the day Mukhyamantri Ghar Ghar Ration Yojana comes into effect.
Union Home Minister Amit Shah has assured Meghalaya Chief Minister of every possible help to address the flood situation in the state. He spoke with the State Chief Minister Conrad Sangma today and took stock of the current situation. In a tweet, Mr. Shah condoled the loss of lives due to the floods in the state. He said the nation stands resolutely with the people of Meghalaya in these trying times. In Assam, Chief Minister Sarbanand Sonowal will visit flood-affected Chirang, Boigang district today. Over 24 lakh people are still reeling under the fury of flood in the state, though the situation has improved. 86 persons have lost their lives. 48,000 displaced people are taking shelter at relief camps. Meanwhile, Kaziranga National Park authorities reported that 143 wild animals were rescued from the floods and 116 animals lost their lives, that include 9 rhinos and 41 hog deers. 90% area of the park is submerged. In Bihar, the flood situation remains grim. Meteorological Department has issued a red alert for heavy rain in different parts of the state in next 48 hours. A report.
The state government has instructed district magistrates of 5 districts of Saran, Siwan, Gopalganj, East and West Champaran to shift people from lower areas to higher and safer places. NDRF and SDRF teams have also been deployed in affected areas for relief and rescue works. Heavy rains in catchment areas of Nepal and plains of North Bihar during the last 24 hours has caused flooding in Bagmati, Kamla, Balan and Adhwara group of rivers, as a result of which all major rivers are flowing above danger mark. Over 3 lakh people spread over 156 panchayats are reeling under the impact of flood. Over 15,000 people have been evacuated and taken to relief camps. State government has instructed that separate relief centers should be opened for people in flood-affected areas falling under containment zones. People from these areas will be kept separate from other flood-affected people. Use of masks and gloves will be mandatory for these people. With Kekelal's report from Patna, Tripti Srivastav, AIR News.
Now let us take a look at the weather updates for today. The national capital Delhi may have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. The minimum temperature was recorded at 25 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is expected to be around 33 degrees. Mumbai will have a generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. The city experienced a minimum temperature of 24 degrees Celsius and will have a maximum of around 30 degrees. In Chennai, the temperature will hover between 28 and 34 degrees Celsius and the sky will be partly cloudy. Kolkata will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. The city had a minimum temperature of 28 degrees Celsius. The maximum temperature will be nearly 34 degrees. In Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature was 25 degrees Celsius in Jammu, while the maximum will be around 34 degrees. The city is likely to have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. In Srinagar, the temperature will hover between 15 and 33 degrees Celsius. The city is also expected to have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. In Gilgit, the minimum temperature was recorded at 20 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 35 degrees. It is expected to have partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Muzaffarabad may also see partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. The place saw a minimum temperature of 19 degrees Celsius, while the maximum temperature will be around 40 degrees. In Leh, the temperature will hover between 17 and 25 degrees Celsius. The city is also expected to have partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Centre asks states and union territories to enhance testing capabilities to deal with COVID-19 pandemic. Recovery rate reaches 62.72%. A seroprevalence study conducted in Delhi shows 23.48% people are affected by coronavirus. Study indicates large number of infected people remain asymptomatic. HRD Minister launches Mano Darpan initiative to provide psychosocial support to students. President, Vice President and Prime Minister condole the demise of Madhya Pradesh Governor Lalji Tandon. And flood situation in Bihar remains grim. Met Department issues red alert for heavy rain in different parts of the state. And with that, we end the Midday News.